Hi, it's Erin and Simon with Assets and Arbitrage. And today we doing part two with Rue, starring Ruel Black. Thank you so much for joining us
Yes,
again.
indeed.
Y'all know that sis was sick. 112, 113 shows, and I missed my first show.
Yeah.
And of all of the shows to miss, Rue, let me tell you, I was tight. I'm like, damn, of all the shows to miss. So
Yeah,
I
after
gave
I
it to
heard
Roland.
you and Bitcoin Chris talk, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see we on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
warrior, the warrior G Simon has never missed a show. So just for the people to know.
you keep talking smack, you gonna miss the show permanently. Keep talking
I
smack.
bet. Oh,
All right, y'all. So we're gonna do part two with Rue. So we did get we got a few comments, and I think it's funny. One of the comments we got came from the Colonel, which you guys know is Crazy Bronx Time. He was like, "Stop dancing around it and let's talk about it for real." He felt like we were, well, you guys. He felt like y'all were touching on stuff that were really, really interesting,
yeah.
but not really like going into it. So, and there were two other people who I have no idea who they are, but they wanted to jump all the way down the rabbit hole. So hold nothing back. You are more than welcome to take the
Well,
screen over.
Uh-oh.
I try to hold back because at the same time, I know I'm on King and Zay's platform, so I'm not trying to
Yes,
let
yes,
you know what I
yes.
mean. So
Try to be
so I
respectful.
try to be careful. I have like a Rockfin channel where I'm not sure if you heard of Rockfin, but they're kind of like a Rumble in that you can just say whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So on there, I do like conspiracy stuff. I haven't done one in like 8 months, but on there, I tend to do like straight conspiracy stuff.
Okay, all right.
Well,
And they're not theories anymore, y'all, right? Conspiracy,
Right.
it is that. It
it,
is this is a conspiracy. These parties are conspiring against us. And we just telling y'all what the news is, really,
yeah.
right?
Can you get our I get the comments up?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I
Yeah,
forgot.
just
Because
check
I
in.
asked them about it.
Check in
All
with
right,
the people.
nobody's on here yet,
We got
but
we got
let's
a few
go in.
viewers. You ready to go in?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we family, we wanted to talk about something that um, last time we were on with the seven hermetic principles, and we wanted to talk about how they relate to Bitcoin itself, and or if you feel like any other cryptocurrencies. So, dude, let's go and do it. So this is the Kabbalion. Do you want to say anything about the Kabbalion?
Not in particularly. I think that
Okay.
everybody should read it, particularly like every guy. Like you should definitely read the Kabbalion.
Okay.
It really just shows you some enlightening things on how certain people just like how they use stuff against us. Like it to me, when I read it, it was just really clear, like, okay, this is literal like magic.
Yeah.
If you don't like and I know magic, that word is really taboo to people
Mm-hmm.
who like practice religion.
Yeah.
And I practice religion as well, but um, it's taboo because many people think of it like as a sinful thing, and it's really not like that. And if you read kind of like I think it's the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
There's a question about whether even makeup is like
Mm-hmm.
magic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
really, it's just a mental magic, if you will.
Okay. It's a mental magic. I like that. I like that
But I
magic.
think in the book of Enoch, and I ain't gonna take us
Uh-oh.
off the dirt road,
Oh,
right?
that's where she going. She taking us out of here.
If you
Y'all,
don't do it, I'm gonna do it. So
so with the makeup, right? It was a sort of alchemy in a sense.
Okay.
But God's issue with it is that it's rooted in deception.
Mm.
There's a difference between enhancing the way you look, and you've seen them on TikTok, you've seen them on Facebook, where in the beginning you look this way, and then after the fact you look like, if I put the two pictures together, I have no idea you're the same human being,
right,
right? And
right,
that is deception. It's a lie. And
100%.
the alchemy of it is because originally eyeshadow were metals in order to get the colors and the sparkles and stuff like that. So like after I read the Book of Enoch, I don't know how to do that whole transformation with the shadows and stuff. All I do is just add some extensions to my eyelashes and put just a little bit.
Okay.
Right when I wake up in the morning, I look essentially the same, except my hair is all crazy.
So you saying
Yeah,
like
no judgment, no
No,
judgment
it's not
here.
about judgment, right? But it did change the way I looked at it
So you
because
talking
nobody
Yep.
thinks
talking
about
about
that.
fresh face out the shower?
Fresh face out the shower. It's just this with just the white. And the only reason why I put the white on my eyelid is because I'm a parent. This is all dark. We up with the baby. We up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Simon and I run businesses. We be stressed.
Mm-hmm.
But God's issue with the makeup was the deception aspect of it, right? He doesn't mind you enhancing his work, but women are just outright, downright, it's deceptive. And that includes nowadays BBLs, breast
Yep.
jobs, right? Like, are you know better than the potter? And that was his issue. Like, what's wrong with the way I made you?
Mm.
And last thing, and then we're gonna move on to the actual thing. I don't understand what's going on with the black women, but when they have the videos where the woman will go around talking to black men and they'll say, do you prefer a BBL or a natural body? Every single man said, I prefer a natural body. And every single woman said, do you think the men prefer a BBL or a They all said they prefer BBL. So I'm not sure where, and it's designed that way. The narrative is out there to keep us apart. And that is where the
100%.
real deception is. She doesn't know what he wants. He has no idea what she wants. It's a great way to keep y'all apart.
100%.
So that's part of the propaganda machine to separate, especially the black man from the black woman, because no other ethnicity is, those homogeneous races don't have those arguments.
No, they do not.
Right.
And so
But I get what you're saying with the magic.
Yeah, so good read. It's a good read if you guys want to read the Book of Enoch, and there is a portion where like these angels give certain gifts,
The
which they
Watchers.
say yes. See, the Watchers give certain gifts to humanity that they weren't technically supposed to have, and one of them is makeup. I think another one's like metallurgy, like weapons and whatnot. But you know, when we look at the Hermetic principles, I think it uncovers a lot of things. Like I swear to goodness, all 7 of these rules like kind of build on each other. And like you would never ever need to read a self-help book again if you just read these 7 laws and understand them. Like it's every self-help book you ever want to learn.
Yeah, so let's go into it. So the first principle we want to go into is the principle of mentalism.
Oh, do you mind if I think I have a site. Can I bring it up and I'll just read out a little bit?
Okay.
I'll read them all out to everybody so they know. Let me share my screen. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Let me kill that. Okay.
A little Caribbean vibe.
Hip hop.
Shook Focus Digital. So it's the Kabbalion, and you can download the PDF for free. Wikipedia.
Yeah, it's a because it's very intricate. It's a tough read, but it's only about 55.
And then economics was popping. So cryptonomics, we're gonna do. Is it because you're sharing your screen?
Can you guys see my screen?
I can see your screen. But there's an echo.
Okay. Echo. Oh man. Okay, let me see what I can do about that. It's probably because I pressed my audio too. Let me stop and share again.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's gone. So cryptonomics, yep, there you go. It's the esotericism of Bitcoin, because we're going to talk about some of Bitcoin's property. Ruel struggle streaming. He's got it.
For
He
real, for
got it. And I
real,
stopped giving him a
for real,
hard
for
time.
real. That's my guy, Cryptonomics. He can rack on me a little bit. That's all good. That's all good. Now that I did not share the audio, we should be good.
Yeah, we're good. It sounds like I'm good.
Okay, awesome.
No, I'm trying to lose the weight.
Okay.
You
Of
hear
course,
her
they're
be
giving
telling me
us
eat a piece of cake instead of
ads
eat my
here.
yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain all the principles really quickly. And if you guys aren't in my Telegram, I can post the link to this in the Telegram. I'll also send it to
Okay.
Aaron assignment for anybody who just wants to look at it right quick. So the first principle is the principle of mentalism. And in the Kabbalion, it says the all is mind and the universe is mental. And if you guys want to read the Kabbalion, the way they describe God is the all. And when you look in like Christian books, they say we're made in the image of God. So hence, the all is like they describe it in the Christian books, because if everything is made in the image of God, God is everything. So that's the kind of explanation of that. But the principle of mentalism is basically everything begins with a thought. Okay. So you can't have anything without a thought having it happen first. Like, so just thinking about that, like your great grandmother was thinking about, oh, look at your great grandfather, and like all of them different people having that thought made you, right? The principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above, the Kabbalion. This is
Now, I
so
will
interesting
say
in
for
so
the
many
Bible
ways.
people, because Bible people typically they get upset when they hear that because the Baphomet uses as above, so below. But in the Bible, it says, as it is on earth, so it is in heaven. And biblically, God utilizes the natural physical dimension in order to explain and for you to fully understand spiritual things. That's why everything in the Bible is symbolic. When Jesus talks in parables, he utilizes ideas, concepts, and items that you would be familiar with so that you can understand that spiritual aspect that you cannot see, that you cannot engage with. So just so you know, when they hear that, they're familiar with the Baphomet side, but they're not familiar with the biblical or the heavenly side where it says, as it is on earth, so it is in heaven.
Nice. Thank you. And also, one thing I want to point out, they say these are the seven hermetic principles, and many people think of Hermes as a trickster god, but these things go back even further than Hermes to the Egyptians, where it's also the 7 laws of Tahuti. So understand that. So understand that this is not necessarily a trickster god's laws, and that these may even be borrowed from the Egyptians. So
But that's the
just so
trickster
people
part, though, is that they tried to
exactly.
whitewash it, package it up, and give it as though they were the intellects. Right? You
Exactly.
went to their mystery schools and then came back and started teaching as though, it's plagiarism.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm glad you said it.
no, we saying
But
it. We gonna say
Colonel,
exactly.
shout out to the Colonel. We're going to say it.
And I'm absolutely gonna balance this biblically so that everybody can get it.
So the law,
Yeah, because
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was going to ask you, because I like to try to circle this stuff back around to Bitcoin because I think it's very interesting. The law of correspondence, how do you think that might circle around to Bitcoin?
With the thoughts or things?
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that as soon as we read
Okay,
them all
all
out,
right.
if you don't
We'll
mind.
get to that.
So then the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. If you were to look at your cells underneath a microscope, you'd see that those boys are vibrating. and as we talk, we have vocal cords, right? And
Yep.
in the beginning, God spoke with his vocal cords, right? And it was so. So the principle of vibration is a huge principle, because vibration is almost creation when you really think of
Mm.
it, because
Yeah.
there was a thought that happened, there were some vocal cords that moved, and something was created. Um,
Okay.
so that's
And the
that's
Bible
that's a
tells you the power of life and death are in the tongue.
Mm.
That vibration goes out and it's supposed to carry out that thing in which you sent it, which is based on the image of
Mhm.
God. God says, as the as the rain falls upon the earth and blossoms, I'm not saying the verse word for word, but his word goes out. It does not come back to him void, but it carries out the purpose in which it was sent. And that's why we shouldn't have idle words. Watch what you speak. Often, sometimes we make jokes, and the jokes are like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that." You should go ahead and cancel that out of the universe. I cancel that out of the universe. I didn't mean that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
yeah,
and a lot of times it's in anger because that has a very powerful vibration. When you say certain things to people in anger,
Yeah.
it comes to fruition.
Mm.
And you got to
yeah,
work really, really
and
hard so that the positive things you say come to fruition. You just got to work harder. But anger has that passion. It has a gasoline to it that casual speak and positive speak don't necessarily have. The gasoline for positive speak, for that vibration, in order for it to conceive, is faith. That's that gasoline. So when your faith is shaky, stuff don't come to fruition. And even Napoleon Hill said thoughts are things. They did a scientific experiment. This is why when Elon Musk, he's working on the Neuralink. Am I saying that right?
Oh yes, Neuralink.
It's the
yep,
Neuralink. You're going to be able
yep,
to function your phone, call people,
Mm-hmm.
talk to just from your head. Simon and I, it's crazy, right? We've been married forever and we spend almost every waking hour with each other. For like the last couple of months, we've been having like the same dream at the same time, and it's scary because I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I just guess like we're in a cycle now where we vibe and our thoughts are like,
Right.
so we've been, and it's crazy for somebody to be like, yes, and you had on this, and yeah, and yours was, yeah, it's crazy, it's nuts. So thoughts are things. Scientists have absolutely been able to
Confirm it.
confirm it,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that the vibration of the thought so heavy that it actually sits outside of your head, and that's what builds the egregor. So that's how Bitcoin's able to have the community it has, right? We form a great egregor. Yesterday was the Super Bowl.
Oh, good.
So if you
Gracious.
live in Kansas City, that egregor is going to be one of joy, excitement,
Yeah.
amped up, hyped up. If you're a 49er, so is that San Francisco? They're probably really low today, very depressed. Everybody went back to work, womp, womp, womp.
Mm-hmm.
So New York City has an egregor. It's one of the reasons why I won't go back. New York City egregor is it's a cold, unwelcoming place. People mind their business. Nobody cares. That's an egregor,
yeah.
right?
I've heard it said egregore. I don't know if it's either way, but that thing is that's so powerful, guys. Like, oh, and I don't even know if I can talk about that and not go somewhere that's not right, or not quote unquote allowed. But a lot of times things are hidden in plain sight. And notice how we were talking about speaking and how powerful speaking is. There's a total reason that writing words is called spelling. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
a spell.
everything that you say is a spell, literally,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
words are spelled. They're it's spelling. Okay, so really think about that, guys, when you're like beating yourself up. If you're like watch really what you say. Like,
Yes.
it's very strong.
But watch
Um,
your thoughts too, your own self-talk. They talk about that all the time. I told Simon, it was about 4 years ago, babe, when I worked at the wealth management firm. I read a book and I said, okay, I'm gonna try this. And I did a thought log. You would be shocked at how many weird thoughts that you have. I'm not even sure if they're your own sometimes, right? And that's a whole nother show for a whole nother day.
Yeah.
But
That's deep. That is deep.
just kind of the things that go across, I call it the radar of your mind, you really should have some type of pulse on
Yeah.
because it'll make you sick. It could heal you, right? It's a lot of different things. And we're going to get to the vibration of Bitcoin, y'all. We're just kind of building the fundamentals of some of these hermetic principles. And then we're going to tie it all back to Bitcoin and show you why Bitcoin is different than a man made currency, why it's different than
Yep.
fiat, why it's.
And here we have the principle of polarity, and this one is so freaking huge. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has a pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in
Yeah.
degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half truths. All paradoxes may
Yeah.
be reconciled. The Kabbalion.
Yeah.
Guys,
And that's a
this is so
very
huge.
yeah, that's so
Go
huge.
ahead.
So let me ask you a question real quick because I don't know where here your buddy Jake
Jay.
Fever. What if you don't believe in spells and
He's saying
words
the words
mean
don't
nothing?
mean nothing. That's not true. Doesn't matter if you believe it or
Um,
not.
it really doesn't matter if you believe it or not.
Okay.
Like the things that you say to yourself, and it's been proven that certain people have said certain things, like even to the fact of like people will write things underwater because water has a certain memory to it. Written things underwater, put it in the freezer, and the water comes out different depending on what word they put under the water.
The
Like,
Japanese
and that just
scientists
doesn't
did
have
that
anything to
and took
do.
pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yep, and it doesn't have anything to do with belief. This is just what is. But I know what you're talking about, Jake, because in a certain sense, if you don't believe anything has power over you, it doesn't. But then you're just proving the point, right? Because you believe that it has no power over you. So you're using the principle of mentalism, and your mental is stronger than whatever, that other person is doing. So in a sense, you're proving the rule in that, okay, I'm not letting this have any power over me. So
Yeah.
boom, that's your mentalism in work right there. I refuse to let anything other than me have power over me. So,
And that's different than I don't believe in it, so it doesn't exist. Right? You can not believe in something and it absolutely exists.
right,
Like, just
because
because you
if
don't
you look
believe
at
in it
some of
doesn't
these
mean it
like
don't exist. Right.
Super Bowl things, if you look at some of the things that people use as, it's too many things that you can point to that just aren't a coincidence. And I think that's the biggest kind of game that they play, is that they make you believe that these things aren't real or are not something to be concerned with, and all of the time they're using them in plain sight right in front of you because you
Yes.
refuse to look at them as something that needs to be believed.
Right.
Okay, I didn't mean
um
to derail you, but it was
no,
go ahead.
we can keep it free flowing. It's all good.
You were speaking on
So
the next principle, hermetic principle.
and before we go on to other principles, I just want to stop here and talk about the principle of polarity as far as like red and blue. We see the principle of polarity with red and blue so much. I think they even used it in the Super Bowl. Like they started, Alicia Keys had the red on, and then at the end they had the blue on. Our politics, you got the Democrats and Republicans, red and blue, and then Matrix, red pill, blue pill. Bloods and Crips, red and blue. Like it's you see that red and blue all the time in polarity. If anyone's ever read the 48 Laws of Power, if you look on that book, it's red and blue.
Ooh,
Yeah. And even for my
So
people out here who are into science, when you look at the EMF, you see the different colors across scale, electromagnetic field. You
mm-hmm.
see it kind of goes from like a red to a blue,
To a cool blue.
all the way, probably all the way to purple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's even in science. It's everywhere.
and it's cool that you mentioned that because it does relate to science too, because and that's how these laws are so like intertwined because with
Mm-hmm.
polarity magnets they do show red to be one side of a pole and blue to be the other side of the pole. And
Yeah,
you can get into it as like almost electricity being one side of the pole and magnetism being the other side of the pole. You can
there
go
you go.
super deep, but just going into the colors, like you could even go into chakras with this, in that the
Yeah,
crown chakra is the
It's
purple
vibrant.
chakra, which
yeah,
is like red and blue mixed together.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
like
And then the white
just
chakra, right? When you're fully aligned, all of the chakras create the white light, which means everything is in perfect alignment.
But what's your lowest chakra?
what
Or is
Red.
it? There you go.
red,
Now,
yeah.
with that being said,
There
right,
you
and we're
go.
gonna get right back to it. When you watch the Super Bowl, when you watch these concerts, when
Oh,
y'all go to the strip clubs, notice how they like to bathe you in that red light. Don't let people bathe you in that red light. They are trying to activate your root chakra, your base
Yep.
animal
yeah.
instincts, right? And
Yep.
it's the
Hundred
lowest
percent.
vibration.
Mm.
We have that heater that y'all see when we're upstairs, when we're too lazy to come downstairs and set up. And it comes, it goes through all of the colors. And very often, Simon will make it a point to put the orange one on, right? Because it's nighttime, we want to go to sleep, and we don't want the bright ones on, but I'm not going to bathe you in the red light
Yeah,
while you're
yeah.
trying to sleep. So,
Yep. 100%.
Well, that's a big comment. Who wrote that?
Now moving to
Bitcoin
the
Shank.
principle of rhythm, and you can see the principle of rhythm, and this goes into the principle of polarity as well when we look at stock charts, and that
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin has a rhythm of 4 years that's built into it.
Yes.
Bearish and bullish cycles, polarity and rhythm again, but just reading it straight from the Kabbalion, everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. The pendulum
Yeah.
swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This is so huge, guys. So huge. And when you really kind of understand the principle of rhythm, to me, you also understand how like um, elitists do things to us. And the
Yes.
thing that Jake was saying, like, what if you don't believe in it? I think that's the biggest thing that these guys do to get us to get the principle of rhythm off of them. So at times they will give us truth in things that we believe are actually untrue or we believe are silly or false or fake. And
Mm-hmm.
since that truth is in something that's silly or false or fake, and we don't believe it, they've given us the truth. So therefore, the principle of karma is off of them because the truth is there, but just because you don't believe it doesn't make it less true.
Right.
And that's I could get into some things about that, but I don't think that people would think that they were true if I mentioned certain things. Um,
Yep.
and you actually have to know how to find and where to find the right and correct information. But um, but if we just keep this in the realm of Bitcoin, the halving cycle. Um, the halving cycle, we see the principle of rhythm all the time in the bearish and bullish cycles of Bitcoin. But even in
Yeah.
those bearish and bullish cycles of Bitcoin, we still see it trending up. But we'll get back to the principle of rhythm. Let's go down to the principle of cause and effect.
Okay.
Everything has a cause, or
Mm.
every cause has an effect. Every
Yeah.
effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. Now, this is huge too, and atheists, this one's kind of for you because if we look if we look at the U.S. and the court system,
Mm-hmm.
there is natural law,
Mm-hmm.
and that is God's law, and the courts are not allowed to break natural law.
Yeah.
So they know that there's a God's law, and they adhere to it. Now we can go into a whole bunch of things where we're talking about social security number and how they actually take away natural law by assigning you a social security number and referring to you as a corporation instead of
A
your
person.
man-made, God-made self. Like,
So that,
but that's that's a different subject.
yeah,
But
that's a deep dive right there. So let me ask you a question because you're speaking on law and God's law. Is it the First Testament or
Old Testament?
Old Testament? I'm sorry, Old Testament and or the Torah, where you were by the law. Is that something that you're referring to,
You
or
lived
is that
under
the
the
same
law.
thing, or am I mixing that up?
well, I'm not exactly completely versed on how God gives the laws in Genesis, like how he completely breaks that down. But
Okay.
there are God-given laws, and people must they must be adhered to. And I
Okay.
think a lot of times truth gets played with because I think it's still up to us to go determine the truth, no matter how it's packaged, even if it's packaged as a lie or not true or whatever. It's still up to us to use our discernment.
Uh-huh.
Um, but as far as the principle of cause and effect goes, well, let me take a step back. Uh, just about Bitcoin, right?
All right.
What we've been given is, and we see all the time, like BlackRock, for instance, right? Their whole thing was my customers have no need for Bitcoin, no need for crypto, and
Okay.
we see how one thing that's given, one false truth is given, but now we're at the point of BlackRock's, they have a Bitcoin ETF. What happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But I think that's them playing with truth, right? So we can see if you go look back at things like, for example, how the New York Stock Exchange was an investor in Coinbase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they clearly knew crypto was going to be something.
Mm,
The whole while they're saying one thing, they're doing a different thing, right?
that hurts.
Right.
So so it so that yeah, that's something. But yeah, we'll get back to that one. We'll read the last one.
But
And
before you go, Rue, I do want to
sure.
answer his question. So God gives the natural laws in Leviticus. And then in addition to the natural laws,
Mm-hmm.
you understand that man came up with their own laws. So we went from the 10 commandments to 613 commandments. So God gave natural law, man made their man made laws. When you move into the New Testament, you move from the law to grace. And in that dispensation of grace, those additional 603 laws were fulfilled. They weren't abolished, they weren't done away with, but they were fulfilled. So there was no need to continue to recognize them.
Okay.
However, the 10 natural commandments, God's law, that is into perpetuity. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not covet, and
Sounds
so
good.
on and so forth.
Sounds like the right things not to do.
Right? In marriage, what God put together, let no man put asunder. Right? And you hear Jesus tell the story, God never wrote divorce into the law. Your hearts were hardened. Y'all wrote divorce into the law. But God's natural law is what he put together, let no man put asunder. So I just wanted to answer that it does work that same way naturally,
Okay.
too,
Yep.
because Simon used to be heavy in the markets. Simon used to teach me the natural organic way that the market moves. And then he started to show me the manipulation of it. He started to show me how they would do little things to suppress things, to overvalue things, so on and so forth. So when we're talking about, causation and effect, understand that the stock market has a natural rhythm, right? Because it goes into rhythm as
Yep.
well,
Yeah. Yeah,
right? It
perfect.
follows natural laws. It has an organic rhythm, and it's man who now intercedes, intercepts, and manipulates that causes these weird things to happen. We talk about the greed and the fear factor, babes,
Yes.
right? The greed and the fear
I
factor.
know
And
what
I
I
don't
don't know
know
about
how
fear
many
factor.
of you are heavy into the market, but the market also follows the lunar cycle, right? When there's
Yep.
a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
100%.
how, I don't want to get too deep. If people ain't into the market, they won't know what the hell we talking about. But
And astrology.
and astrology. So the market does follow these natural aspects and areas. People think that money is this cold, worldly thing. It
Yeah.
is not. It absolutely isn't.
And that's a nice segue, by the way. Um, for the seventh principle, guys, just
I know what the
understand
seven.
this gets perverted a lot in today's
Okay.
society, right?
Okay.
This principle we're going to explain, but it most definitely is a binary type topic. Okay, this
Okay.
principle is,
Good.
and Aaron just mentioned one with the lunar cycle. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Women's monthly visitors are timed up with the lunar cycle. So
Mm-hmm.
the moon is like a feminine energy, if you will, um,
Mm-hmm.
and we know it because
And the
of
sun is
that.
masculine energy.
Exactly, exactly. So
Okay.
in going to the seventh principle, we got the
Okay.
principle of gender. Uh,
Yeah.
Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Now,
Mm.
this principle of gender is like the principle of polarity, like just how we have the sun and the moon, and the moon kind of has the women's like menstrual cycle, and the sun, we got that going on, and that's kind of just this burning like intense type of fire type of heat. This is just how it works. And I'm trying to be very careful with this, but
No,
the
just say
gender
it.
gender is in everything, and we also
It
see this in language, right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah.
those of you that speak Spanish,
Yep.
those nouns like are gendered, um,
Gender based.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
The Latin base, it tells you these things are male or female.
Mm-hmm.
So for precious metals, gold is masculine energy, silver is feminine energy. So, these things permeate across, I would like to say, time and space. And because we speak English, which is a spell in itself, it's also, when I say a dead language, not dead like Latin, but like a death language. And that's another show for another day, but we lose that understanding that these things are, water is masculine, right? When you speak another language, especially the Latin based languages, you start to begin to see the things in your world that are masculine and feminine.
yep,
Wine is masculine. I got to go through the stuff in my head in Spanish. But you just kind of start to understand how the world is set up, and it's based on balance of these things.
And what is the
yep.
balance? Where does that come from?
Where does the balance come from, or where does the
Where you
necessity
see
of
the
balance?
scales.
Yeah, the scales.
Right. So that's the balance, and that and we talked about that earlier.
But even in human beings, the man and the woman coming together with the ability to create something new, which a child, that's when you know you've reached balance. Now, it's been perverted terribly with, baby mama, baby daddy syndrome is what I call it. But just the understanding of it, that until you two fully align, you cannot create something that did not exist before. You have to be balanced and fully aligned in order to create something new.
Yeah, you got a couple
So then, if
comments
we
here.
take all of these seven and kind of put them in the ball and apply them to Bitcoin, we kind of already touched upon the principle of polarity in that, or let's go with the principle of rhythm because that's the easiest to just start with.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's my thing beeping here. So we got like the halving cycle. There's a built-in 4-year rhythm with Bitcoin that we've seen in that after the halving, it tends to go bullish, and about 2 years after the halving, it tends to go bearish. And this is what I love about crypto because it's kind of built in, unlike the stock market. It's there, but you kind of have to really find it. With crypto, it's just right there with the 4 years, right? And if you look at stock charts for those who are in like the medical field, stock charts look a lot like
EKGs.
EKGs.
He said
Yep.
that to me one day.
And for the people out here, I am I have a what am I saying? Certification in reading EKGs.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know exactly.
I didn't know that.
I almost died
Nice.
once. He had to read my EKGs. There was no one at the hospital to read it here. Thank goodness nothing was wrong.
I saved her. I saved her. I saved her. That's why I got my Superman hat on, because I saved her.
He is my
There you
Superman.
go.
I ain't one of these
There you
motherfuckers.
go.
That's my Superman. I don't know if I would still be alive if it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
There you go, brother. Shout out, God rest her soul. My mother, she was a medical like technician. She used to read EKGs, so I seen a couple, and that rhythm, that EKG is basically the heart or whatever they're looking at. That's the rhythm of how it's moving, right?
The life energy person or lack of it.
And it's coming through electricity. So just for the
So we got that rhythm right there. That rhythm, we see the rhythm of Bitcoin, the vibration of Bitcoin, because when you look at EKGs, you're looking at a vibration. This is literally kind of the heartbeat of Bitcoin, if you will, when you're looking at these charts. So that's right there. That's right there for you. And again, the principle of polarity, in that we have in the principle of rhythm, in these bullish and bearish charts, we may have a complete up in total polarity to the top, where I think with Bitcoin is 69K, and we have a polarity to the bottom. And if we go to the whole principle of cause and effect, you have certain things like Rona, which I believe not.
It's just the way you said it. Sound like Cardi B. The Rona.
I believe Rona really knocked Bitcoin off its course. Like, if had Bitcoin been able to just keep running, it probably would have ran way past what people were thinking. Like, I believe John McAfee was like predicting at the time, he was predicting like $1 million Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So one effect of Rona was to actually slow down Bitcoin, slow down XRP, and certain other coins. Okay. Another thing that you can kind of see is Bitcoin really being related to gold, and one might think that Ethereum relates to silver, but certain people have said that Litecoins price moves pretty close to silver. So either Ethereum or Litecoin, you could say they're the silver of the market, but hence the market even has its balance in that Bitcoin's the gold, and either one of those is the silver. And we could get like even really, really deep about Bitcoin being gold in that
2.0.
2.0 in explaining like proof of work. So Bitcoin is mineable, right? How do you get gold? You mine it.
Right.
What do you have to do to mine it? You have to work to mine it. So
work.
and like we were explaining last show, like life, uh, uh, money is a sacrifice in that if you get paid a salary like $30 an hour of your life force is given for $35. Hence, there's a proof of work there. There's a sacrifice there that is happening for your time.
Wait a minute, babe. Sorry.
No problem.
Just turn it
YouTube.
on.
Sorry, sir. YouTube.
And then time is Chronos. Uh, Chronos is Saturn, and we could go actually to the Bible and then know like Saturn is also another name for Saturn is Renfran. Um, and then we can get into some totally crazy stuff about the mark of the beast when we're talking about Renfran. Um, and you could look at a whole bunch of different uh, crypto logos as well as CERN's logo
Mm-hmm.
and see the whole 666 thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you can look at a certain star,
The
six
Star Run
pointed.
fan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can look at a certain star and based on my research, this star has nothing to do with what they equated to today
Mm-hmm.
because actually David, what if he would have went into battle, what he would have used is a menorah. That would have been what he used. So that it represents what it represents today. Um it may be it may not represent what people think it represents.
Mm-hmm. It
Uh,
doesn't.
put it that way.
It does.
Because in it you have six triangles, you have six sides of a polygon, which we've seen a lot of crypto companies named Polygon, and 6 points. So 6 points, six triangles, six sides of a polygon, and we see that in so many crypto things. Polygon, like there's literally the company Polygon, um, which we showed you last time. Block Bank, which has that kind of six looking logo. We showed you Pyth or Pith, which has that same logo but just flipped. Um,
Google.
Google, that's another one. Um, yeah, CERN, which we'll probably get into on other shows in here
Yeah, we got to do a
together
search.
here.
We got to do
There's just so many if you just really look at it, and so so all of this stuff, like I know people probably get sick of me saying it, but all of this stuff connects. And the more you kind of look at these seven hermetic principles, you will see the principle of rhythm, you'll see the principle of polarity, you'll see the principle of vibration, you'll see the principle of mentalism. um,
Mm.
but be really on the lookout with the principle of polarity with that red and the blue. You get that a lot. Another set of colors that you get a lot with the principle of polarity is white and black. Of course, of course, being black people, we know about that one, right? Um, but you see it a lot on Masonic floors. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you see it a lot in a whole bunch of different fashion. You see the black and the white and the zebra colors. Um, yes, it's definitely a thing.
Mm. Okay, well, we had some comments. Some people had something to say.
Sure.
What you?
Um, I know Bitcoin Shango. I wanted to read some of his.
Oh,
Hex
No
has
prep
got.
work. Go ahead. I was gonna say no red
Oh,
light
go ahead.
specials, but the red light district, it is. I just want to go back to go for it. It is designed for that. That's why sex workers typically use the red light. It's a way for you to lower your inhibitions and to allow your more um, nature
nature character. Yeah.
to come forward and let the civilized part of you go back. That's why in Amsterdam it's the red light district. That's why when you go to strip clubs, you're showered in those red lights. That's why at concerts, there's red lights. They're really trying to get that animalistic base going. Very rarely do they shower you in a big bright white light because that's different now. You're moving towards divinity. You can see things for what they are. The red light also casts certain shadows, which makes things look different than they really look. So there's that
Let me
for
ask you a question.
KW1.
When this is you dropping gems, jewels, gems. Where'd you learn all this stuff at?
Along the way, I wouldn't even be able to like put my finger on
That's okay.
where.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I just want
But
you
that's
to
why
know.
they do the things that they do when you go to certain places. Certain places have certain vibrations. Clubs are typically dark. They'll have the DJ booth will have that red siren light, stuff like that. And it also invites certain entities. So this is why we tell you guys like guard yourself at all times and be on guard at all times.
At all costs.
Certain environments come with certain entities and come with a very specific vibration. Other environments come with other entities and a very high vibration. We talk about concerts like Astro World where those people got killed, the little Uzi Vert concerts. It's like y'all can't say y'all are Christian Bible toting people and y'all are at these concerts and don't know why you're hearing demons groan. Well, I don't believe in demons. Demons believe in you. Right?
Yeah,
So
100%.
whether you believe in them or not, they're here, they're opening portals, they're doing stuff. People are being tormented on a daily basis. So it's good to just be like, okay, let me at least keep in mind what we're hearing so that I can kind of better guard myself after the fact. Bitcoin Shango said, we've allowed those who've actively and continually benefit from the knowledge of the past to keep us from the same fountains of knowledge and strength. And it's true. The elite move by these old ancient understanding of concepts and spiritual concepts and ideas, and they kind of try to push you like, oh yeah, that's superstition. You live in 2024, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's the game of chess they're playing.
100%, 100%. And you see it all the time where they make it seem like it's pseudoscience, but they're the
Yes.
ones using it, which is exactly what we see in crypto, right? They made it seem like crypto's a scam, but then now look, years later, BlackRock and all these other hedge funds are just scooping it up.
Oh, and
So,
Chase, Jamie Dimon, right? He's out here
yep.
talking about
On the slide. He getting
Bitcoin
on
is
the slide.
criminal. It's like,
While he's invested
oh,
in
is
Ethereum,
it?
while he owns 10% of MetaMask, like, come on, guys, like, you gotta wake up. Don't just trust what you hear.
Yes, indeed.
5K said that they paid the like tax for every live stream. So thank you so much, 5K.
Thank you.
Simon family, Black Rue, and the Gentleman of Crypto, please keep up the good work. So thank you so much, 5K. Trust truth, right? Duality in everything, Crips and Bloods, et cetera, and then they just pit them against each other, right? Is it end so harder? Said dropping some real jewels, so true.
Come on, y'all. Come on,
Bitcoin
guys.
Shango said ignore the divisiveness and work
No,
towards
yeah.
a better union. That way people can become unstoppable. Jake Fever is watching Bitcoin's price go up. Polarity to the top is $100 million, not 69. That's funny. Bitcoin is only like gold if Bitcoin fails. I don't believe that, Jake. Bitcoin eats the world. It replaces banks, gold, stocks, real estate, payment systems, government, and money. So gold has been gold for over 6,000
6,000
years,
years, yes.
right? And that's a track record that we can't, you can't dismiss and you can't, just kind of flub away. When I
Yep.
say gold, because gold was first and then silver, but as gold had the ability to account for all of the dollars. Bitcoin is going to do that, hopefully at some point. But again, as we talked about, it's not moving in this natural, organic nature,
It is not.
right? You have all of these hands doing whatever they can to slow this process down so they can figure out if there's a way to manipulate it. Is there a way to hijack it? Is there an alternative to usurp it? So Bitcoin just optimizes what gold has been for almost 6,000 to 10,000 years. That's a track record that cannot be dismissed. It can't be. You got to put some respect on that. So, and all Bitcoin does is optimize gold. It's like how your smartwatch optimizes an analog clock. Okay, it's how maybe internet radio optimizes radio, right? So, let's see. Da, 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 da. Arm Jr. said, y'all are dropping a lot of gems in the stream. KW1 said, makes sense. She never thought about things this way. Holloway Fan Bam, part 2, Simon Family with Black Rule. I know, I thought I had bars, Holloway. Because I wrote part 2. I wrote part 2. What did I say? I said it was fly. I said part 2 featuring Rue, because I wanted to rhyme. So the law of antiquity is always well. Jake Fever said, if they say they don't believe in demons, that is a spell they're casting on demons. Yeah, right. They exist. There's a way for you to mitigate that, but just because you can't see something or hear it or feel it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means you can't see it, feel it, or hear it. Bitcoin 50K this early means this run will be special, and that is our heavy. Rue, Simon, and I want to take the time to thank you guys for joining us. The content cousins are having a great time with the barbecue. I did have to have a yogurt, but maybe we can do like a food thing one day or another, right? But go ahead, Rue. Let's go in a little bit on Bitcoin and some of the attributes and functions and utility about it that really separates it from anything else we've seen, whether it's monetary policy or money in general or sound money, etc.
The supply is the one of the biggest things because if you guys look at what happened to Gaddafi, right?
Oh man, I know.
Yeah.
Like they he got his country off of the central bank, right? And Libya just happens to be very rich in gold, so that made him a big problem, especially if he wasn't going to play ball with the central bank people, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I said, and he wasn't gonna play ball.
Right. So like everyone's really kind of like excited about this Tucker Carlson and Putin interview, but I when you look at like Gaddafi and what happened to him, right? You really think, okay, that's what an enemy looks like. That they got him off the board like quickly because he had enough gold to really upset the system with Libya. And if you look at what Libya is right now, Libya is not doing as good as when he was there.
It's nowhere near what it was.
So they painted him as an enemy and they got rid of him. So when you look at Bitcoin, that hard limit of 21 million is very, very important. And if we were to bring up the whole gematria thing, we did some of that on the first show.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's gematria lines right up with Saturn. And again, that's time. And it seems that time, in the grand scheme of things, like we don't see it in the Hermetic principles, but time is really important when it comes to money and these people. And it seems like they have a great understanding of it.
Man, that's deep, and we got to go deeper and deeper on some of these subjects. Did you need to read anything?
But are you gonna bring up time theft, babe?
Well, I was going to do a whole show on time theft, so we had to do that. But time is something I'm a very big proponent of. Is time. So
because
Right.
it is the most precious commodity.
It is.
Yep.
And they understand how to siphon it off of people at a mass level,
Mhm.
right? So one of their big issues, I'm trying to use my words carefully too, Ru, is Bitcoin allows you to preserve your economic energy. Their whole agenda
Oh,
is to siphon as much of your economic energy, 30, 40, 50, 60 years at a time per person
yeah.
as possible. So that in itself, you talked about a disruption. That in itself is a systemic disruption that they're not feeling at all.
Right, right. And you look at one of the ways like you can make more time for yourself and create kind of more money. Look at you guys. You went to Mexico. That makes your dollar stretch. You
Yeah.
know, $1 is now 17 pesos. And I don't know if you guys remember when they were up here, like saying like Mexico was just like really dangerous for people. And there was this one lady that went with her four friends down to Mexico for a BBL, and two of them supposedly died. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you got like the two survivors on Anderson Cooper. Like that
Yeah.
seems so strange to
Yeah.
me. Like, when have you ever had like
Something.
two people on Anderson Cooper
Yeah.
for something like that? That was really weird to me. So
But
it
what was
seems,
happening was California, especially, they were, I think they said, I don't have the numbers, so I need to,
Okay.
but it was tens of millions of Americans had flocked to Mexico from Southern California, I'm going to say, between 2020 when the pandemic hit to this was at the time 2023,
Mm.
right? And that's a disruption in that market. So
yep,
what's happening is you're getting your $150,000 salary because the market's just so high and heavy. And these people are like, I'm not paying $8,000 a month for a one bedroom apartment when I can get a beautiful condominium for $1,200 a month in Mexico. So
yep,
they were trying to disrupt that particular situation.
Mhm.
UK was having the same thing. People were flocking, especially from London to Mexico around
Mm.
that same period of time because mugs are six-figure high income earners and damn near homeless.
yep. And you bet your bottom dollar these people have metrics and on all of this, right? Based off of our social media and so many other things. So they know what's happening, right? Um, That's why it's kind of like they don't need our money in crypto because they're going to convert everything to crypto anyway. But the less and less of us that actually believe crypto is a real thing, um, the less and less of us lose out because we don't think it's a real thing. So
Right.
here it is that BlackRock and so far 11 what do you call them, institutional investors, like some of the biggest in America, have locked up a certain amount of Bitcoin. Here next month, 10 Chinese, that they say that China is going to have 10 of their VCs do spot Bitcoin as well. So that's going to be
Yeah.
even more Bitcoin locked up.
Dang. And
So,
so I'm just reading comments. Looks
yep.
like E.
But if you do that, it's gonna hide
Oh,
your.
I'm sorry. It's E. Unfortunately, legacy finance has taken over cryptocurrency. We should all start to move a position
A
of our
portion.
money. I said a portion. I'm sorry.
A portion of our money into Bitcoin for the long term to help preserve our wealth and buying power. He too stubborn to wear his glasses, y'all.
And
Me,
you know,
me too,
Vain.
Simon.
He's so vain.
Me too, bro. I can't. I should be wearing them right now. I ain't even. But yeah, I
You see
can't.
how
I can't
close he is
see.
to the
I
thing?
can't see at night for nothing, bro.
no, I said Roof Fam is in here.
Yeah.
That's an E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Shout out
that.
to E. He's a moderator in my Telegram. He keeps things
Oh,
Ah,
flowing
okay.
over
Yep.
there.
He's in here.
Thanks
I'm
for
gonna call
coming
you
through,
E
E.
double.
He's E. E Dub. What's up, E? No, I'm joking.
I too am E.
But yeah, what?
Those
We were
E's
just
gotta
talking.
unite.
And so that aspect of time, how you say they have a very distinct understanding, a very comprehensive understanding of time and how to siphon it off of us. Bitcoin is in direct opposition to that. And it's one of the reasons why they don't like it. It's why Jamie Dimon thinks it's criminal. If you can preserve your economic power, purchasing power, strength, and time outside of his system, he loses.
Yes.
Yeah, JP Morgan is one of the biggest companies that privileges or succeeds based off credit card debt. Profits, that's what
And
it's.
Yeah.
overdraft fees.
Yes.
Yep.
Overdraft. Yeah.
So he's saying that, mind you, he's backing BlackRock's ETF. So
Mm-hmm.
he's all the while saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's
Because
crazy. But
they want to maintain that disparity in wealth
Mm.
between the 1% and the 99%. Rue, I don't know if you got to see that show that we did where they were showing you how the 1% has stolen, I would believe it's 50 trillion
Yeah.
dollars from the 99%, and they want to keep it that way. Bitcoin disrupts that system all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of their peeves about it. I'm sure they like the idea of it, but they don't like the idea that. So let's just do overdraft fees, right? Get credit card debt, and I'm gonna add it in there after the fact. But let's just do overdraft fees. If every single American had the opportunity to participate in Bitcoin some way, somehow, imagine how drastically, and obviously we can't quantify it because we don't have the data, but imagine you can just kind of estimate in your mind how significantly we would almost eradicate any overdraft fee with
right.
the way Bitcoin, the direction that Bitcoin is moving in, right? Two, one thing Simon Family Investment Ventures doesn't do is we don't use credit cards, right? I get the people who talk to us about how to leverage credit and this, that, and the third. Your girl and your boy like waking up every day knowing we have absolutely no debt, none. I don't owe nobody no money. So imagine if just 30% of the Americans who were under crushing debt could wake up tomorrow morning and use that same phrase.
Yep.
They
And there's
lose.
definitely religious reasons for not having any debt as well, guys. So
No. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I already told them I'm gonna
Yeah.
walk
Most
this
definitely.
walk with you.
Yeah. Most definitely.
You got to show me some things, Lord. And he has. But absolutely. So it's life changing and they know it. They know it.
yep, and it's crazy when you see some of the propaganda. Like this summer, I went to my nephews wanted to see. It was one of the Fast and the Furious movies, the latest one.
Okay.
Um, and at some point in time, like Ludacris is like, "Oh, we lost all our money in the computer. Like, oh, everything's gone." And then Tyrese, he like opens up his coat, and he has like all his money, all of these dollars in there. So, um,
Like a stripper?
well, not quite. Just like
Okay.
like every pocket he has like
That money in
a
there. I remember
money in it, and then Pete Davidson is like, well, as long as you don't give me any crypto, because I don't want any of that.
But
Uh,
you see how they stuck that in there?
yeah, and it's like, okay, so they stuck in like, okay, don't deal with computer money because it can be erased. And here's the guy with all the dollars that aren't worth anything, that aren't backed by anything, saving the day. And here it is, Pete Davidson, the guy who we've already thrown in your face with Kim Kardashian. Oh, he doesn't want any crypto either. So if you want to be cool like Pete Davidson, you don't want to grab any of that crypto. So
We
it's
mentioned
like
on the show with Trek with 2Ks. Shout out to our content cousin Trek.
shout
We
out to
mentioned on
Trek.
the show, yeah. Why rappers, y'all talk about mollies and this and that, and whatever y'all talk about, everybody run and go do and copy what y'all are doing. Have you noticed there's not one rapper? I mean, Nas had a bar about it in Hear ye, only kings stand near me. What's the name of the album? What's the name of the song? Well, the Khaled song, I can't remember the name of the song, but he just had a bar that said he was a cryptocurrency Scarface. But you don't hear
Nice.
rappers talk about it at all, and that's where the real money is. And it's not even like they're not involved. And I almost want to say,
Right.
did your record company make you sign a contract that tells you not to talk about crypto? Like, and then when celebrities do get in on it, it's on some BS.
And quiet as it's kept, you see all these rappers talking now about being iced out. You can make diamonds in a lab, and
On shit that's gonna depreciate the minute you leave the damn jewelry store. So it's
right,
already bad advice.
right. Like there are no diamond futures. There are gold futures. There are copper futures. There's silver futures. But they don't even do futures on diamonds. So that should say something right there. Like, but that's what the rappers preach, being iced out. So it's something. Um, and I know people don't look at altcoins too much, but there's this whole perception that altcoins are not safe. But when you look at some altcoins, I could probably name at least 10 right now that work with Fortune 500 companies. So like, of course, you got the baby Doge, Elon, or something like that. Of course, you got the ones that are just flat out meme coin like things, right? But I'm talking about like ones that are actually working with Fortune 500 companies like IBM, right? Um,
Yeah.
like there are cryptos out there like that. So and and back to the point about rappers with talking about crypto. Um, one of my subscribers, shout out to Scott Riviera Group. He sent me something about Nipsey Hussle that he was really into Bitcoin. I don't
Yeah.
know if y'all heard about that or not.
And I think Bitcoin Chris had a line in on him, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think so. I
I
believe so.
well, like he was supposed to link up with him, I think a few weeks, I want to say a few weeks after he had passed away, but he had already had a line into him for them to meet up.
Oh, okay.
Bitcoin Chris, I
Wow.
think, tells a story because he was more vocal about it. That's not how he made his money. So they couldn't, like, you know what I mean, determine or dictate, I should say, what he could say and what he couldn't say. Although somebody here I just saw wrote that Drake has a crypto company. That was Courtney who said it. And I don't know who Money Man is that's getting his contract in Bitcoin. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Drake does have a crypto company, and there was something with Big Boy and
Big Boy from
Drake.
Outkast?
No, I'm sorry, Bit Boy.
Oh, Big
Big
Boy.
Boy
Okay.
doing some like deal with him with Drake with a company called Stake. It's like,
Oh, did you look into it though? Like, nah, for real. Did you? This
well,
is the first I'm hearing of it.
yeah, yeah. I really have no comment on it. All I know is that 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 deal came to BitBoy via Drake,
Okay.
via like his new girlfriend. So that's
Oh, it
like,
already sound messy.
yeah, real messy.
Okay. Okay. Da, 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 da. Holloway is definitely in the contract. Jake
Oh,
Fever said altcoins are not safe. They should be used to get more Bitcoin. Even if they work with good companies, invest in those good companies.
okay.
Money Man is a rapper. Yeah, I mean, I get that much, but I'm not familiar with him. Zay was also trying to link up with Nip. Maybe it was Zay who was linking up with Nip and not Bitcoin Chris. Stake is a gambling company that allows you to use your crypto. Oh, I know Drake got a gambling problem. So that makes all the sense in the world now. Thank you. All right, now it all comes together. Um, well, I mean, we did a lot, and it's so abstract and deep, right? We want to jump down this rabbit hole. We definitely need a part three.
Yeah.
For sure.
Unfortunately, hubby and I got to wake up at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning because we have some early morning meetings we have to prepare for before I actually go to my real job. So, Rule, content cousin, let me tell you something. I'm so happy to have gotten a chance to do this show with you. I do want to bring up one more thing, and it's like story time.
There we go.
Few years ago, hubby, he sits up in the middle of the night, and that's when he does his thinking. All the kids are going to bed. I'm probably half asleep, and he can kind of like be in his thoughts. And he was just sitting there, and then, he kind of woke me up a little bit. He was running something by me, and then he just mentioned to me about Bitcoin being immutable. So I sit all the way up now. I said, "Did you say Bitcoin is immutable?" He was like, "Yeah, you didn't know that?" I said, "Do you know immutability is an attribute of God?" He was like,
Nice.
"Oh, I never put the two and two together." Just when we talk about like a digital gold, so in the Bible, gold is the money of God, and what it represents is the physical manifestation of spiritual wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom. And when you look at it in a natural sense, right? When your plumbing's backed up, you're exchanging money with a plumber who has the wisdom to fix your plumbing situation, right?
Yep.
When you go to college, you're exchanging your money with somebody who has the wisdom to teach you this thing. When you go to the store, even if it's a product, you are exchanging your money for the wisdom of this product to carry out or execute the need that you have for it,
Yep.
right? So money, gold, originally was that spiritual wisdom manifested in a physical realm, okay? And then silver is a reflection of it. We'll talk about that in the next show. You're gonna do with us, Rue. I'm already setting that up. So, just having the idea of what Bitcoin is supposed to do and the intrinsic value of freedom, right? Because that's the
Yep.
ultimate wisdom, the way to apply all of the things that you know in order not to be in servitude
Yep.
to something or someone else. So I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to make that point on that divine aspect of Bitcoin that no other currency, fiat or otherwise, has that ability to do. The Bible and
Nice.
Bitcoin. I think about it, Holloway, the Bible and Bitcoin, right? But we're going to
Yeah, it'd
wrap
be pretty
this
tight.
up. We're at the 1 hour, 17-minute mark and 55 seconds.
Okay.
Rule, content cousin, we really appreciate you, all of your knowledge,
Yes.
all of the work you've been doing in the community. I know your show is way different from this one, but it's good to see the content cousins and how dynamic they are in other
Yep.
aspects of what they do in the community. And that's really what we appreciate about you when you come onto our show. We definitely got to do part three because, Sean was upset he couldn't be on this one.
Oh, yes.
So he definitely wants to catch that part three with us.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And we want to thank you all in the chat for engaging with us, for
Yes.
liking our content, for supporting us, for supporting Rue. Rue, do me a favor. If somebody had additional questions, if they wanted to catch you and talk to you, what are some of your social media handles, or what's a great way, besides Telegram? I'm sure they're familiar with the Telegram, right?
Yep. So if you go to almost any video, it won't be on this one, but if you go to the video before this live, the Telegram link is in there. My DMs are open on Twitter at Black Rue. So yeah, you can find me either way, Twitter or via Telegram, which is open to the public. And if you want, you could just drop a comment on a video, but I'm not as good as getting video comments. So I would definitely suggest coming into the Telegram because we have a nice little community of people, like 170 something strong. So
Somebody
it's
answer
like,
you.
right. So somebody will answer your question if I don't necessarily get to it right away.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rue. We're definitely going to do part 3 so we can dig just a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole. Family in the chat, thank you guys so much. Even though y'all don't do content with us, y'all still our content cousins. So we love y'all.
Oh,
And y'all have a wonderful night. We'll just stay on 2 more
yep.
minutes.